All right, everybody, we're going to check to see if we're 5 by 5. Sorry for being late. Trying to get dialed in here. Everybody hold on. We haven't been late in a while, so it's crazy night. We got kids everywhere. Graduations coming up. Concerts. Liv, are you green to go?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna need reading glasses.
I'm popping smoke on Wimkin. Going live. Check it for me, please.
Okay.
All right, let me know if we got a green light. Folks, we got the Trump rally that was on at 5 o'clock. I figured a lot of you were at work. So we'll get on here in just a second. Liv, I got to add your camera to the other slides because you were off last night and I didn't have a chance to add them.
Okay.
Wanted to talk about one of our listeners. Violet has a good friend of hers who was in intensive care. I don't know. I don't know the entire story because it was yesterday, but I believe she had a heart attack. She's in ICU. She threw a stent, I believe, is what took place. If everyone could say a prayer, I think her name is Sarah. If you take a second, put your hands together, or just even saying a few nice words to whoever you believe or don't believe in, doesn't matter. Just say a little prayer. It's important we do those things. We have a couple birthdays coming up. And we will go ahead and address those here shortly. Sorry if I seem distracted. I'm checking all the sites and making sure we're good. Liv, are we set?
On Wimkin we are. Spreely and Twitter we are. I'm not on the other pages yet.
Facebook's the big one after that. If Wimkin and Spreely, then right to Facebook.
We are up on Facebook.
We're not going to watch the entire Trump rally. We're going to watch some of it, but I still feel it's important to kind of get an idea. And maybe what we'll do is we'll focus on the Q&A. And we'll go from there. All right, everybody, we're going to start her up. We'll be back in a few minutes.
And if you can't get down with that, you must be so
Folks, the DUM Club is a way for you to join the community. We have silver, bronze, gold packages. Starts off with getting the newsletter, getting our news site absolutely ad-free, cost club membership to an Amazon made in the USA style service. 5% is given back to veterans, and you get quarterly packages. There's a whole bunch of stuff. You get birthday wishes, autograph stuff from the host. Go take a look. It is thedumclub.com.
That's new.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hog Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The DUM Show and his website. Yeah. Don'tUnfriendMe.com. Yeah.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
I figured out how to do the Twitter Spaces before, and I don't know how to do it. Create your space. Only people you invite to speak, who can speak. Okay. What do I want to talk about? What are we going to talk about? Let's see. I'll put all that in there. And we'll just record it and hit start now. Hit allow. And I think we got a Twitter space. Hold on. It's loading. If you are watching over on Twitter, you can watch the full video, obviously, but now we have a Twitter space going on. Look at that. There it is. If somebody wants to pop in there and let me know if you can hear us. Test. Liv, can you hear that?
I can hear you.
Testing.
The headphones.
Testing 1, 2, 3. It looks like I'm talking. All right. Well, there it is. We've got it. Folks, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. I've got to get Olivia up here. You got to bear with me. I wasn't ready for this. So let me go ahead and fix the windows from last night. Square. All right, Liv, you're coming in. I apologize.
No worries.
There you are. Outstanding. Let me carbon copy these windows. And there we go. And there you go. All right. We should be 5 by 5. Are we good on all stations?
Yes.
All right, everybody. Once again, sorry we had to do that. We are going to... You can't comment, Matt. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What do you mean I can't comment? On Spaces, you may have to edit. It's silent. It's silent.
I don't even know what Spaces is. I'm no help there.
Who can't comment? I don't understand. Show captions, space settings. Who can speak? Only people you invite. That's it. Kristen, what are we talking about here? I'm going to go over Biden and Normandy. I'll go over that too. Manage space. Sorry. I don't know what, Kristen, I don't know what to do. They should be able to hear me, right? Test. We got it. We got to hurry and get this going, Kristen. No show is showing because it's already streaming on X. I think that's the issue. Oh. No show is showing because it's already streaming on X. You mean, well, you're not going to, you can't show the show on Spaces, can you? It's only audio, right? Because look, here's the show. And then you've got the Spaces right here. So you can't see the show on Spaces, right? It's just audio, Kristen? Nope. No, nope what, Kristen? That Liv, can you tell Kristen to be specific, please?
Kristen, please be specific.
What does nope mean? Nope to what? We got to hurry, Kristen. Kristen says, yes, only audio. Okay, so it's right? You can hear me on Spaces, yeah? Okay, Kay, I know you hear me on Facebook. We're trying to get Spaces on Twitter right now. Either way, I'm doing this, and if it's wrong, it's wrong, and I'll fix it in post. All right, let's get to the Trump rally. Charlie Kirk is putting on a fairly big rally. It started at 5:00. Trump is also taking Q&A. I'm going to try to get to the Q&A portion because I heard it's really good. So let's take a look at what we got.
2016 was beautiful by comparison. It allows.
Before I woke up, I said,
but would have never happened. Is ready for it, and I'll be honest with you, if you really knew the stats, people by the liked it so much, and then all of a sudden he liked it the best. And you know, it's interesting. We look at the Civil War. You take money anyway, but we have say they run more efficiently. They know how to.
Okay, that sounds like he's
I said, what do you mean? We put. That was an easy thing to get. I want a deportation. They know how to do it. They're horrible people. They're killing hundreds of thousands of Americans each year. And when I mentioned and I do it purposely. I mentioned the death penalty. And without it, you're never going to solve the problem. If you look at Singapore, if you look at the only countries essentially that don't have a problem are people with either really strong crime prevention or countries with the death penalty.
Yes.
And Singapore is another one. They don't even know what you're talking about when you said you have a drug problem. Do you have a drug problem? No. We don't have a
2 years.
Why would we have a drug problem?
2 years of the Diablo iPhone version.
In my opinion, 300,000 people.
All right, folks, I'm trying to find Rumble is not very good at scrubbing their videos.
Now I can use that slogan because our country is we're a failed nation. We need a victory.
Okay, it's still speech. Getting to the Q&A.
Because
there it is.
Behaving badly.
There it is.
Tough.
I saw him point to the audience.
We're going to make sure that they have. It was in 1920. It's right. Look at that guy, California, Arizona. So we're going to have to close it up. We're going to close it up. We're going to use federal powers to close it up. Thank you, darling, very much. Good question.
Oh, darn it. I missed it. Hold on.
Trump administration, Lincoln's
Kristen
name correctly.
said she'll message you about
in
X Spaces after the show.
Probably the worst State of the Union anyone's ever heard. Under the Trump administration, get them out.
I don't know why he keeps doing this.
Maybe ever been at. I mean, money for great and a bit on very simple solution. In addition to all of the Biden migrant
all right, he's wrapping it up. We'll start from right here.
Crooked Joe is also responsible for more women and children being sold into slavery than anyone else in modern history because we are so weak on the borders now. We were so strong. This guy goes to the beach all the time. You ever watch him in a bathing suit? Somebody told him he looks good. Oh, Joe, you look great in a bathing suit. You know, you're 82 years old. You look fantastic. He can't lift the chair. The chair weighs about 3. And they fought. And I won because you all agreed. And they're busing them into subway. It's just horrible what's taking place. And they're sitting down in a school, taking a student's.
This is killing
United
me.
States. Legal. He actually apologized. He went on top of her class, everything.
Oh, here we go. We got a
County,
scrub.
Florida, last month. Biden migrant who Crooked Joe released. Police department. These are great. In Riley, sorry, amounts of, and Singapore is another one. They don't even know what you need to do. 88,000 children are missing under this administration.
I want to hear this.
And they have no idea. And unfortunately, many of those children are dead, just like many of the hostages held by Hamas are dead. When they can't make a deal, when they can't make a deal, that's a big problem. And they're finding out that a lot of them are gone. A lot of these people are gone right now. But there's a thing, again, it never would have happened.
Are we 5 by 5,
October
Liv?
7th,
Yes.
Israel, the attack on
How's
Israel would have
Winkin?
never,
Up and
ever
running.
happened
Popular.
under the Trump administration.
How many we got?
13.
Nice.
When I'm president, I will use Title
All right.
42 to
Everyone's heard this.
slaughtered. Because
I'm trying to get to the Q&A. I've heard it's excellent.
And most important, great. Thank you. And it's interesting. We talk about Second Amendment. I'm the one, I just got recently the endorsement of the NRA, which I appreciate. Very strong. Very strong. But I was talking to them, and gun owners, for whatever reason, don't vote. They really don't vote. Vote in very, very low numbers. The gun owners have to get. Also, evangelicals and Christians don't vote like they should. If they would vote, we couldn't lose. There's nobody that can beat us.
That's the truth.
So we have to get the evangelicals. We have to get the gun owners. We have to get these people to vote. And if they vote, nobody can beat us. And if they don't vote, they're going to take away your guns because the Second Amendment is totally under siege. They'll take away your guns. You're not going to have protection. And other reasons that you want guns. So the gun owners have to vote. The Christians, the evangelicals have to go out. They have to vote. So I'm asking everybody to go out, and we have to swamp. You know the word swamp? I fired Comey. I fired a lot of people. We were doing a job. But this is a different swamp. We have to go to swampthevoteusa.com. Swampthevoteusa.com. It's a different version of the word swamp. I never liked the word swamp. And then I said it one time at a big arena, the place went wild. I said, I sort of like it. Frank Sinatra told me he never liked singing My Way, except everybody liked it so much. And then all of a sudden he liked it the best. So we like the word swamp because it's meant so much. But we have to swampthevoteusa.com. That's where you go to get the information to request your ballot or pledge to vote early in person or even on election day. The main thing, you've got to vote. And you got to sort of watch your vote because these are crooked people. You got to watch your vote. Watch where it's going. And if you want to volunteer to help us turn out or target voters in your neighborhood, we have a lot of people that want to vote for us, but they don't vote. We got to get them to vote. We need TrumpForce47.com. TrumpForce47.com. And with your vote, we will end Joe Biden's border nightmare. We will fire his failed and weak, horrible, the worst ever administration. We will rescue the state of Arizona. We will make America great again. We will make it great again. Vicious. It's a little bit what we've been talking.
Impacted my mother.
I don't care. A little bit sloppy, I must say.
All right, here we go.
But they look like nice people. But whatever question you'd like to ask, it can be a horrible, embarrassing, vicious question, or it could be quite nice. I don't care, personally, because it's called We Answer You. You ask a question, we answer the question. Yes, darling, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, for taking the time to answer this question. I am a mother, a wife, and a woman, and I also foster and adopt kids. Growing up near the border, I've seen firsthand how an unsecured border has impacted my family and our community. I worry about the illegal drugs being brought into our community and what could happen to my children. What steps can be taken to reduce the drugs being brought into the country as well, and safety and well-being of families and the community?
Thank you, darling. Good. Very good question. It's a very...
Do you know how hard it is to do public speaking?
I can't do it.
And then, do it in front of somebody and, try to communicate somebody you ultimately respect. And then someone who makes you nervous. I mean, and you add all that together, it's nerve-wracking. And honestly, the only thing that makes it really stick is practice. And I remember the first time I talked to like a VP and in a setting and asked a question, it's crazy. It's a lot of stress. And then, you know, I once I got done with briefing in the military, it became easy, you know, because I'm talking to admirals and generals and chief of staff and Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney. I had a chance to brief him, the Secretary of the Navy, and you know, I just got familiar with it. Rumble just died.
Rumble just died?
Yeah, we just lost Rumble. I don't know why. So there's nothing we can do. We can't go back and get it. So yeah, Rumble could be having problems because of the Trump speech. But anyway, it's really difficult to do. And folks, we interrupt a little bit on these because we don't want to get hit with copyright. So here's the rest.
Basic question. It's a little bit what we've been talking about, but it's going to be at a level that we have never seen in this country. Even as good as I did, I created the safest border in history. We're going to make it so good. All Biden had to do is let the people stay there, keep the same policies. We wouldn't even be talking about this as an issue. And I think in a certain way, it's just one of the truly big issues. We're going to make our border very powerful, very strong. We're going to stop drugs from coming in. We're going to stop this whole thing with human trafficking, which is a big part of your question. And we're going to make your homeland safe for you to stay with your family, where thousands of people aren't pouring in and looking through your windows and what they're doing here in Texas. And by the way, the governor of Texas has done a very good job of closing it up. But here they haven't done that. They haven't done that. And in California, they haven't. 82% of the people are coming in now through California, Arizona. So we're going to have to close it up. We're going to close it up. We're going to use federal powers to close it up. Thank you, darling, very much. Good question. Yes, sir. You're a good-looking guy. Look at that guy. Looks like a banker from Wall Street.
You can see I'm an old man, and I have grandchildren that I want to see taken care of.
Right.
I love them, and I want them to know that
Thanks,
they can
Kevin.
have.
Thanks, Kevin. We appreciate it, folks. Thanks for starting us out tonight. We forgot to mention it, linktapgo.com/the DUM Show. We're 100% funded by you, the viewer. So if you have the ability, taking care of your family, friends, and loved ones and all of that, you've got the mortgage paid. If you can help out the DUM Show, we appreciate it. We come on 5 nights a week and do recorded shows and provide you all the funny memes and the news and that. So we would appreciate it. If you have a chance, stop by linktapgo.com/the DUM Show. Thank you.
The same life that I have had.
Oh, it's very nice.
What are you going to do about that?
We're going to make sure that they have the same. You know, I mean, I could just see how incredible you are by the emotion of that and the way you asked the question. We're going to make sure they have the same life that you had or better. We're going to make it safe. We have to give authority back to law enforcement so they can properly protect people, because right now the law enforcement is just not allowed to do their job because crime is so bad. Crime is so bad in the cities. And one of the things I said is we're giving immunity. We're going to guarantee people, you know, they lose a law enforcement person. They go and stop people from robbing stores. You go to some of these department stores where 500 people walk into the stores. They walk out with air conditioning. They strip the whole store. The company goes out of business. The store is vacant for 25 years. The whole city becomes a slum. And if you do anything as a law enforcement person, they take away your house. They take away your family. They take away your pension. We're going to make it so that we're going to give them essentially immunity. We're going to make it that they are not going to be losing their pensions. They're going to be able to do their job. And we're going to get life back to where I know exactly the life that you're talking about. It was a life of common sense. It was a life where there was no crime. There was nobody getting bopped over the head when they weren't looking, getting pushed into a railroad train or a subway. It's just horrible what's taking place. It's horrible. It's evil. We're going to get it back to common sense. We're going to have law and order. Thank you. Great question. Thank you. Great question. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, President Trump, for coming down. We really do appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
I'm in the unique position of having 2 children that are in their 30s and a set of girls in there that are teenagers. I know what I did have to do with the 30-year-olds. I know what I now have to do with the teenagers. I have trackers on those girls, and I've taught them evasive action when driving through our county because of the high-speed pursuits of
Good for her.
trafficking.
Who would believe you have to even think about
Yeah,
doing
exactly. That's a great. Not in America. Hey, real quick, we even though we're trying to show this, we have a show to do. Victoria Robinson asked me a question. Matt, have you heard of American for Prosperity Foundation? Thoughts if you have. Thanks. I know it's a 501c3. I know it was actually founded by the Koch brothers, and it's through the Tea Party movement. They focus on they're fairly right leaning. Their overall rating, I don't know. I can look it up on charity ratings and also on political action committees and groups. I do know it was run by the Koch brothers. I know that for sure. And they obviously do what a lot of PACs and a lot of 501c3s do, is they raise money to restore America or do something like Project Veritas or some of the other nonprofits that you see going after information through Freedom of Information Act and things of that effect. So, but a lot of theirs is ultimately political campaigns, investing in local community politicians, moving forward with legislation and helping garner support with politicians in the community, things like that. It's that's what I know. If you're asking me, is it something you should donate to? There are plenty of other 501c3s that I think you should donate to before that. In fact, there's hundreds of them. I'm not going to disparage it. I don't know enough about it, but nothing that I've ever spent any money towards. And there are plenty of other 501c3s I'd put my money to. And whether it's influence in politics, whether it's veteran contributions or taking care of homeless vets or building homes or whatever it would be, there are plenty of other ones.
Original too.
Yeah, no, I know that.
How would you handle the criminal activity that is running rampant because of this open border? Because all of this is from this open border.
Okay, strength, and we're getting them back. We're bringing them back. In some cases, we'll keep them here. There's some real bad ones, but don't forget, when we keep them here, they cost us millions and millions of dollars per person. It's so
I'm checking right
crazy.
now, Liv.
We're getting them the hell out of our country, and we start with the criminals. And you know what? Our local police know who they are. They know their first name, their middle name, their last name. We have to give authority back to the local police, who are fantastic people. Okay? Thank you very much. We'll get that stopped. And
Karen, sorry, everybody. Ordered June 1st, dispatched June 6th, estimated delivery June 10th to 12th, shipment dispatched to carrier. If you check your email, your trash box, you should have a tracking number. I'm damn good at what I do. I've sent out thousands of packages. We've never had one lost, except for a personal one that Olivia and I sent out, and we had that replaced in about a month because I can't remember who did it with us. They were so kind on letting us try to track it down. But yeah, we're good at what we do. The turnaround's huge. You order a shirt, they're custom made. We don't have them sitting in a box. They're not stale. They're printed and shipped to you directly, and they're made in your region. So made in the United States. Okay, there you go. You go to the DUMShow.com if you want to buy a shirt. There's one right here. See this thing? Yeah, there's one right there. All right, let's listen.
soon. Yes, sir, please.
Trump, so great to have you here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I'm a veteran Air Force individual.
Good.
Can I just quickly, I know I don't mean to keep interrupting Trump. I apologize. People get mad at that, but it's not veteran, it's veteran. Okay. And I'm not one of those snobs. When I say nuclear versus nuclear, shit, people get upset. So I'm not, but it's not veteran, it's veteran. I'm just, okay. Sorry.
But foremost, I am a father and a husband.
Somebody get Gene out of here.
It's frightening that
I think we already got her.
Illegals crossing our border from countries like China, the Middle East, and other dangerous countries. How will you prevent all this national disaster happening at our southern border?
So we can do things that nobody does with this. We have tremendous economic power. And by the way, if we're not careful, we're not going to have that for long either. That's going to go down the tubes with everything else. But if China or some other country is behaving badly, we have things called tariffs that are so severe. Mexico, look at Mexico, what they're doing. I can solve that problem, I believe, in one day. You send people through, you allow people to come through your country with hundreds of miles they have to walk, hundreds through. By the way, those caravans, I thought I came up with the name, maybe somebody else did, but they're caravans of thousands of people. The young women in particular, but the young women in those caravans suffer so badly, and there's so much death. And this is all caused by Biden, where people think they're going to walk into the United States. It's just another form of death. We are going to be so tough, and if a country is not going to behave, we're going to tariff the hell out of that country, because one of the powers that we have, and if we have to, we'll do more than that, but I don't think you're going to need it. You know, I had a very good relationship with China. Yet I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. No president, we wouldn't have any steel factories, any steel mills in the United States if I didn't do what I did. I was taxing them at 25 and 50%, perhaps going up very substantially. But we wouldn't have industry, certain industry, they would have been gone. And it's not only China, it's every country tries to take advantage of us. The European Union is brutal to us. They don't take our cars. They don't take our food products. They don't take anything. We have a tremendous deficit. You know, the European Union sounds so nice. They're very tough. We have hundreds of billions of dollars of deficits. We had that really going great. Then COVID came in, and I had to take care of that, or we would have had a country that was 1929. If I didn't pour money at COVID, we would have had a country that was in 1929 depression. We handed over a stock market that was higher than just prior to it coming in. But we're going to be very tough on countries, because, you know, you can stop it at the source. If you stop it at the source, it's much easier than really having battles at the border, and we'll stop it at the source. And I'll go back to President Xi, and he'll honor it, I believe, death penalty for those people that send these horrible drugs into our country. And you'll see it stop very quickly. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, President Trump. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We love you in Navajo County, by the way.
Thank you.
So I'm a mom of 3, and when I go to the grocery store to fill up the fridge, costs are out of control. So what do you think we can do? We need to bring those costs down.
Got to bring them down. We have the greatest inflation, in my opinion, in the history of our country. They say in 47 years, somebody else said 78 years. I say it's in the history. You look at the cost of food, and you look at the cost of energy, and you see where it is. And I think we're almost 50%. It's, you know, they like to say 24%, 28%. It's much higher. And they don't include a lot of the things that are really bad. I'll give you an example. Interest rates. So interest rates went from 2.5% with me up to close to 10%, and you can't get money anyway. But we have a very sick country. It started with energy. Now it's all over. And now energy isn't as bad as food. It's not as bad as rent. It's not as bad as a lot of things. But energy is going to bring it all down. If we cut your energy in half, you're going to see a difference, the likes of which you've never seen before. We're going to get rid of inflation, and we're going to bring that number down. Not just where you don't have inflation. We're going to bring those costs down, because it's the biggest thing I hear is people going out to the grocery store. They make the same amount of money, but they can buy half of the product. They buy half. And it's the single, I'll tell you what, it's the single biggest. I even have that here. I have something here. Let me see. Because you asked this question, I think I'll show it. Should I show it? I don't know if you can see it. Look. Tic Tacs. Right? This is what inflation does.
Oh, that is so great.
Oh, that's good.
This is what inflation. Okay? Look. Not good, right? But I kid. But there really is no kidding. It's serious. People can't live. People that had a comfortable life under Trump, making the same kind of money. We had many more jobs, and they had all bounce back jobs. They bounced back from COVID. They were going to come back.
During the debate, Trump should do that, and he should hold up a baggie full of crack and be like, this is what crack looked like under my administration. And then get a real tiny one and go, and this is what Hunter has to buy during the Biden administration. Inflation. I think that, no, okay, fine.
I think it would be funny.
I don't. Oh, shit. I went too far.
What?
I'm sorry. I got to figure out where I was. Oh, bogus.
I have trackers on those girls.
Break out the Tic Tacs. There it is. Perfect.
The same amount of money, they live half as well because costs are so high. Inflation is known as a country buster. It busts up countries. It busted up Germany years and years ago. Anytime.
Liv.
Yes.
How does inflation happen? Yeah, all the mumbo jumbo, all the bullshit. How does it start?
I'm trying to think.
Simple.
It would be like raising wages and then
not necessarily wages.
You know?
Okay.
I don't know
That's okay. Okay. So let me give you the quick example. Say we have $1,000 a month that we have to spend that we get in the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But we've got $1,700 worth of bills.
Mm-hmm.
So every month we're going to be how much behind?
700.
So we take a loan out for 700,
mm-hmm.
but we have to pay interest on that. So with that interest, people buy up our debt and forgive our debt, but own it. And at any time can call it. And although it's off the books, we still owe that debt to other countries. So essentially what you're doing is you're printing money you don't have. It's just paper. There's no gold. There's no silver. We're attached to oil, but we don't own that oil. And the OPEC dollar essentially is what the US dollar is based off of. So it's not like there's any physical equity for that dollar to mean something. It's not a promissory note. And if all of a sudden the global economy just completely shuts down, that dollar is worth exactly what that dollar is worth, which is something shy of probably, 0.2 of a cent because of what it's printed on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So the more money you print and the more money you put against the system, the more that the American dollar is weakened and its buying power is weakened, and therefore it costs more to do less. So companies will increase prices, distributors will increase prices, vendors will increase prices, the government will increase revenue by increasing taxes, increasing interest rates to try to stem the flow of lending because the dollar is weak. And when you give more, you have to give more money out on a lend in order to have less buying power for something that's more expensive. That's why you want to go ahead and raise interest rates, because then the profit margins increase on the loans that are out there, which is a stopgap for the inflation deficit from buying power. And also it dissuades people from taking loans. So it stimulates the market. So the market feels that it has to stimulate itself by lowering its prices in order to increasing its business model. Do you understand?
Yeah. I always wondered why the interest rates raised every once in a while. Well,
that's right. That's exactly what it is. You print money that you don't have, and then that increases the cost of goods because revenue ultimately needs to be maintained. And then you can control it. This is what, by raising the Fed 8 times, ultimately you suppress the market, slow it down, so the market lowers its prices, so they have to get more business to make the same amount of money. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's an ebb and flow of epic proportions. When if we would just actually spend the money that we have and not borrow against it, we wouldn't be having this problem.
Got it.
But because we do, this is why we have it.
You have inflation that's not checked, not controlled. It's a country buster, and it's going to bust up our country because we've never had inflation so bad. So we're going to get the energy down. We're going to get the food prices down. We're going to do a lot of cutting also, and we're going to make our country very livable. We had almost no inflation, and now we have record-setting inflation, and it's killing people. Thank you, darling, very much. Thank you. Please.
Hey, Thomas. What's up, buddy?
Thank you, Mr. President, for taking my question.
Thank you.
And you talking about energy is a perfect segue into my question. And here's my question. Is this, I've watched gas prices under the Joe Biden administration just soar, and we're no longer energy dominant, as you mentioned.
Can you believe it, right? By the way, to interrupt, we have more, I call it liquid gold, under our feet than any other nation in the world. Saudi Arabia, Russia, but we don't use it. We don't use it. We don't use it because of these people that are absolutely, they're crazy. They're crazy. We don't use it. Drill, baby, drill. The man just said it. Drill, baby, drill. Go ahead.
And you know, exactly, Mr. President. I'm a pastor, and I'm watching the members of my church hurt over how much, just like what you're saying, the gas cost is just to get to work, go to school, and go to church. And therefore, my question is this: what are you going to do to help the everyday American who could barely afford the price of gas? And before you answer that, Mr. President, I just want to say this as a pastor. Scripture says, where sin abounds, grace abounds all the more. And we want to thank you for tapping into the greater grace that's going to eliminate and bring this country back into the greatness.
Thank you, Pastor. Very good. You can be my pastor any day. Thank you, Pastor.
Hey, what's the chat bot? We have a bot? I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't either.
Hey, what are you guys talking about? What do you mean we have a bot? What's it saying? Now, I know there used to be settings on my old server, Restream, and we could put in a chat bot, but I
just got a message.
Someone tell me what it says, please.
I appreciate it. We can get energy started. You know, you have places in this country that are, you're very high. Your energy is very high. But you have the New England states that are the highest in our.
Burn it. Ban the account fast. Ban them. Do not click that link. Nobody click that link. Ban their asses as fast as humanly possible. Get them banned. Let me know.
All I can do is hide. I can't ban anymore. Why is that? All right, somebody get them.
Somebody send me that link so I can get rid of them. This is a scam, and this isn't good. We got to get these people off. I'm going to play this, but I'm going to go to work on that, okay?
Our country, it's crazy. And if they had a pipeline,
just hold on to it, guys. Don't get rid of them yet.
Through New York, but New York won't approve it. If they had a pipeline, they would cut their numbers down by 50%. I predict, and I will tell you, I'm going to get energy costs down to much less than 50% of what they are now all throughout our country. And that's going to have an unbelievable. And once that happens, interest rates are going to follow. Interest rates will naturally follow. It's not as complicated as people think. And I did it. We had no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And we'll do it again, but we'll do it even better. Thank you, Pastor. It's very nice. Appreciate it.
President Trump, it's an honor.
Thank you.
Chatbot. I see it now.
Yeah, none of us can ban it.
Wait a second. This is something new, folks. The Don't Unfriend Me Show's chatbot. Hold on, everybody. You've already turned on live notifications. Wow.
Is it?
So I think what it is, it's a bot that talks to people and says, do you want to, get notifications of the Don't Unfriend Me Show and stuff like that. Don't ban it. Just hold on a second. It looked like a bot when I read the script, but I think it's built into. It is. This is interesting.
So is it something from our end?
Yeah, because I can go into it and the Don't Unfriend Me Show chatbot, earn a badge. Moderator only, and it shows all the badges that we have, and it does. That's cool. I think it's Facebook. Sorry, you get nervous because you don't want people.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're good. So enjoy it. Oh, Tina goes, other podcasts I watch have these. Well, you want to know what's interesting? If that's the case, God, maybe I got stars.
Oh.
Because we've never had it before. So
how do we know if we have stars?
I don't know. This is a good thing. Sorry, folks. We're excited. We like new stuff. Anytime Facebook gives us new stuff is good. Here we go.
Enlisted in the Army Reserve because I love my country, like many of us do.
Right.
Under Biden, our national security is at risk with endless wars. What is your plan to bring us back to peace?
So, such a good question. So, when I ran against Hillary Clinton, I don't use the word.
So this is what you can do. You can type in, here are the commands. If you type in !commands, something will happen in the chat. If you do !notify, it will notify you when there's a live show. !supportage. Maybe you can give support. Someone try that, !support. See if you can give stars. Then !followage. And then !uptime. So, yeah, I don't. So BK, it's not working for you. I'm sorry, guys. This is interesting. Yeah, I tried to follow it and it's not working. I don't know. You guys are gonna have to tell me what the hell this is because I don't understand it. And I hope it's legit. All right, let's press play.
Get anymore. I don't use the word anymore. I don't do, because I removed that word. I used it for Joe. I thought it was more accurate. Then I had Sleepy Joe, and I removed it into Crooked Joe. I thought it was slightly more accurate. But we had a situation going with all of these people, everything. They wanted to say that I was going to create World War III. Look at him, he's a radical, look at him. I was a radical for not having wars. And if you look at Viktor Orban from Hungary.
Okay, so Facebook chatbot is a new, and it's only approved on certain live shows.
Oh.
It's a messenger chatbot that allows you to type in a code and do basic things that you want to achieve, like donations or follow or get notifications on when the show is. And you put those in and use them during the live show to make sure that you're attached to the live show that you want to, and you can interact with it. You can see your badges, you can see your overall ranking on comments, and it's kind of cool. That's neat. So I'll look into it and how we can implement it, but use it to your discretion. Merry Christmas.
Strong country, strong man. He's a very powerful man, runs it strong. He didn't take illegal aliens. He didn't want them. He said, I want my people to be Hungarian. I don't want to have my shopping centers blown up, et cetera, et cetera. And they asked him a few weeks ago, they said, let me ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, what's going on with the world? The world is blowing up. You have Ukraine, Russia, you have Israel, you have all these places. They're in war with each other. What's going on? He said, there's one thing going on.
No, Dodie, I don't think it's them trying to track you more. I think it's a nice thing to help you interact with my site and make sure you're being notified. So I look at it as a way where people complain that they're not notified when we're on. I think it's neat. So, no, I listen, everyone thinks Facebook is the most evil company in the world. Overall, they've been pretty good to me, and they haven't really screwed with me in 2.5 years. I've got to figure out why my stars are the way they are. But honestly, at this point, I just don't care. I just want to keep growing where we're growing. I love that we're on Wimkin. I love that Spreely's doing well, Rumble's doing well, and honestly, Facebook's doing well for us. It's just, it's unfortunate we lost that revenue stream.
That Donald Trump isn't president. If Trump is president, it's all going to end. They all respected Trump, and it's true. And it's true. So they said that, look at, Hillary said this, look at Trump, just look at this guy, he's going to go to war, he's going to take us. No. Look at me. I'm the one that kept us out of war. For 78 years, it was 78 years until another president, look, that's a long time. I kept you out of wars. I totally defeated ISIS. I rebuilt our military, and countries respected us. I totally rebuilt our military, and I rebuilt our Veterans Administration. I took good care of our vets. 92% approval rate. So we are going to
Thank you, Violet.
make sure there's no wars. We don't want to have wars. I call them endless wars. I call them wars where people don't even want us involved.
I want to say thank you to everyone who's donated. We've made $670.85 of our June goal, which is $32.50. If I had my soundboard, I'd clap, but I don't have my soundboard anymore. We gotta figure that one out. We gotta figure that out. Why it's not working.
Here. We'll just give a little.
That'll work.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, go ahead.
But want to thank everyone for helping us out. The donations keep us going since Facebook took away our main revenue stream. You guys keep us going. It helps to pay for the lights and electricity and everything that goes into making the show and keeps us on. So we really appreciate any and all help.
How do they do it, Liv?
You can go to linktapgo.com/the DUM Show, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
You're doing fine.
I have it written down, and so but I didn't pull it up. Yay me. So you can go to linktapgo.com/the DUM Show, and I don't know the whole tip thing, but can you tip there? I don't know what.
Yeah, you can tip, and you can also donate. So if you want to have a little more private thing, you can change your name and stuff if you donate. If you don't care, you just tip. It'll automatically pop and show up. But you can also go and look at our store and look at our news site and look at all the ways you can, participate in the podcast and everything else. So we appreciate you doing that. And Livy, you did very good job.
You can also join the dubclub.com.
Yeah, go take a look. There's a bunch of stuff in there for you. We appreciate you. Thanks, folks. You guys keep the wheels turning.
Now, Ukraine's a very interesting case because we spend hundreds of billions of dollars. And Europe, don't forget, we have a little thing called an ocean in between us. Europe should be paying much more. Nobody asks them to pay more. I asked them to pay more for NATO, and they paid a lot more. That's where they got all the money, because they were all mostly delinquent, other than 8 nations. But they would always say Trump is going to get us into war with his attitude. No, my attitude kept us out of war. We defeated ISIS, totally defeated ISIS. We got out of Syria. We got out of Iraq. I got out of these wars because I'm a big believer. I want to spend our money in our country, doing our country's great things. Our country, you drive down our roads, you drive down our highways, our country's falling to pieces. Our infrastructure is falling. And then these guys, all they want to do is spend money on the Green New Scam. It's a Green New Scam. I mean, the things they're spending money on, it's like throwing the money out the window. And we don't want to do that. We want to fix our roads and highways. We want to get rid of the electric mandate for the car. How about that? They have hundreds of thousands of cars right now. And by the way, I'm a big fan of electric cars. I'm a fan of Elon. I like Elon, but I like him. And I think a lot of people are going to want to buy electric cars. But if you want to buy a different type of car, you have to have a choice. Some people need to go far. Some people don't want their car built in China. Some people, there are advantages to other. And basically what people have to have a choice. And you know what? You have to have choice also in education. You're going to have choice in education, and you're going to have choice in what you buy. And that has to do with electric. The electric cars don't go far. And by the way, they're incredible. He does an incredible job with Tesla. And I tell him, I said, and I think he agrees with me, frankly, but you can't. They don't go far. Same thing with the trucking industry. I met with the trucking industry the other night. They said they want us to switch to electric trucks. They have to stop 6 times going to California with a load of diesel. They
just to let the moderators know, no more. If you curse on the page, it will no longer block. So that was a setting. I forgot to change it. I changed it. You should be good to go. So if you want to test it with a shit or a damn, you can, and it should be good to go. I did not turn off Rumble. Rumble failed. I guess it dropped several shows tonight. So, but once we start the stream, we can't reenact it, unfortunately, on Rumble. That's the way that works. I apologize.
But how the hell can you do that? You're going to destroy our supply chain. You're going to destroy everything. You put everybody out of business. So we are going to do things based on common sense. We're not going to allow men to play in women's sports. We're not going to allow people to pour into our country. We're going to get your taxes way down. We're going to save your Social Security. We're going to save Social Security. Biden is putting your Social Security at risk by allowing all of these people to pour into our country. It's at big risk.
How are we doing over on Webcam, Mom? Any questions, comments, concerns? People have been really cool over there. They've been really following the videos and
no questions. It's just a bunch of people having fun chatting.
Well, tell them to stop having fun, and if they have questions, ask a damn question or something. I want to get our Wimkin people involved. So
if anyone was on Rumble, because we still had live chat and we were still chatting, I just lost it completely. So I'm assuming it's completely
something's broken
down.
on Rumble. And folks,
Yeah.
this is a great time to go over to Wimkin and follow Spreely TV. There's plenty of channels that we're on. I apologize. Wimkin's a great opportunity.
Yeah, Wimkin's got great chat. So
Wimkin is very. It's strong live. It's stable. It's a great picture. It delays, which means that if we do have a bandwidth interruption, it will fill the gap so you won't see any lag or any breakup in the video or anything like that because it has a 1 minute delay. So it's state of the art, man. Jason runs a great ship. So go over to wimkin.com and take a look.
He is putting Social Security at risk. With me, your Social Security is 100% safe. Okay? Please.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you for taking our questions.
Thank you.
I'm a retired vet who had to close down my business because of the disastrous Biden economy. It's been tough. What's your plan to make sure other small businesses don't go through the same grinder?
Well, they have to, and you know, it's incredible. We had it going, and I poured money in to our country, and I'm sure you were a beneficiary at the time. But I poured money in to keep those businesses going and to keep people employed because of COVID. COVID was a disaster. And we were able to get through that, and we got through without going into a depression. But with Biden, he's spending money on the wrong things. He's not spending money on you. He's spending money on things that don't work. He's got the most...
All right, folks, it's top of the hour. We're going to go into a quick promo. You guys, this is a funny commercial. This is one that you can enjoy. It's a Wimkin commercial. It's fantastic. Please enjoy it because it's just freaking hilarious. It's literally a minute. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of being constantly banned off of every social media platform for saying facts only to be proven right 6 months later after you already had to create a new account? Tired of Fuckerberg robot AI-looking bitch constantly putting you in Facebook jail? Or maybe a geriatric old bastard who shits his pants in front of the Pope became the resident-in-chief because his crack addict, traitorous son had complete media silence about traitorous actions and backdoor deals with the big guy. And those bastards ban you for sharing the story. If you said yes to 2 of the 3 above, you don't need to circle back like a failed White House spokesperson who has 2 alcoholic drinks for a name. Up in Wimkin, we think it's fair not to sell your data to China. Even though their president is super inclusive and named Xi, we kind of have a problem with the whole harvesting organs, slave labor, and communism. We also don't compromise you or get your kids to do stupid and dangerous trends. So you don't have to find out secondhand your kid Johnny is an idiot. Look no further than Wimkin. Made and housed in the USA, Wimkin offers all the features of Facebook and more, with complete data privacy and safe for your whole family. Download us on your app store today and join the community of users who value privacy and safety. Wimkin.
That's a great commercial.
I love Wimkin. I love the gin sake. I didn't think about sake.
I never thought of that
It's gin
before.
and sake, two alcohol names. But yeah, if you head on over to wimkin.com. Now, here's the thing. The process, they don't have bots. So Jason approves they have 9 million users. So he approves every single one by hand. And he scrubs them, makes sure that emails look good, names look genuine, and that you're a real person. So if you have a hiccup and you're not able to get access, let us know. And we'll make sure that it takes 2 seconds. I send Jason a text and then he responds and he's like, got him. So if you need, and you're not approved, just let us know. And here's the other thing. If you have a Gmail or Comcast or Yahoo email, they block Wimkin. So the interesting thing is you won't get an acceptance email. Just put in the username and password that you put in and it will automatically log you in and you'll be good. You don't need the email. So the reason why is because Comcast and those guys don't like Wimkin because they're a free speech platform. Here you go.
Expensive forms of energy ever, where everything's subsidized. He's got windmills all over the place. Every time you see a windmill going up, you need tremendous subsidy. Now, it kills your birds. It ruins your landscape, ruins the value. If you have a house and you can see a windmill, your house is worth half. But it's also the most expensive energy there is. And we have to get back to the basics, and we have to be able to help people like you, not to help his friends who make all this crap. And much of it's made, and a lot of it's made, most of it's made in China. It's made in China. There's something going on. Why somebody would want to do these things where the product is made in China. That goes for electric cars too, by the way. But the windmills are all made in China and some in Germany, but most of them are made in China. What the hell are we doing, right? We'll take care of you. You watch. Thank you. I understand exactly what you're saying, too. Just hang in. Yes, sir.
Mr. President, thank you very much. My name is Jorge Rivas. It's truly an honor to be talking to you again. And real quick, my wife, Betty, would like to say hi to you real quick.
Do you know how cool this is? Joe Biden would never do this because nobody wants to talk to him. But this is like changing people's lives. It's like, oh, my wife, that's what you would do. Be like, I want you to meet my kids. Here's my lizard and here's my cat. I think it's an awesome thing.
Look at her.
Look at her.
Thank you very much.
Latinos really do love you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And I do mean that.
I love them. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And besides loving you, we're also praying for you, Mr. President. You'll be all right.
Thanks so much, Thomas.
Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate you much, man. Thank you for the tip.
My wife and I own a small restaurant in Tucson, Arizona, Sammy's Mexican Grill. And since the pathetic Joe Biden administration took over, the prices of everything that we use doubled just a couple of months after they took over. So would you be helping us out? And is there going to be some baby drill?
Yeah. You know what's so interesting about it? We're going through questions, and I have time. What the hell else do we have to do today? Let's stay, right? But I have time. But do you notice that the questions are basically about the border? Think of it. All these questions, almost everyone about the border, they want border security, and they also want help on inflation because you're getting killed with inflation. The price of bacon has gone up 5 times. You can't order bacon. I don't order it anymore. It's too expensive. But bacon, as an example, has really eggs, all of this stuff. It's gone up at levels that nobody has ever seen before. But I believe the energy is going to bring it down. I think we can bring it down. And then once it starts that spiral, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Because, when they say we're at 4% now, they're not including the fact that you might be 45, 50% higher than you were 4 years ago. So it's not 4%. We have to get it down. We have to bring it down. The best way that we can bring it down is with interest rates and energy, and the interest rates are going to follow the energy down, and that's going to follow the bacon and the eggs down, okay?
Correct.
Thank you. And you have a beautiful wife. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I like that hat. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's an honor to stand before you.
Thank you. It's my honor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Jose, and I own a small business that provides services for special needs children and adults.
Great.
And thank you so much. And I have a question for you this afternoon. Time and time again, we come across paying American citizen families that are denied services that their child requires, while on the other hand, we see others rushing across the border freely and easily receiving assistance. What will you do, Mr. President, about the influx in immigration, strained resources because of this widespread and open border, sir?
So we have to get them out. Look, it's not sustainable for us to have 20 million people that we have to take care of, and it's just not sustainable. And their countries, I know the leaders, I know them just about all, their countries are doing this because they're smart. I would be the leader of the pack. If I ran Honduras, if I ran El Salvador, if I ran some of these countries that are sending vast numbers of people, I would be emptying out our prisons. I'd say, listen, send them to those stupid people in the United States who are led by idiots. Send them into the United States. Let's have empty prisons, and let's never let them come back in.
Is that G.I. Joel?
Yes, that's awesome.
G.I. Joel subscribed. Thank you. You are my storm shadow. I appreciate you.
The chatbot's actually kind of cool
Yeah?
because you can type in followage, and it tells you exactly how long you've been following. And since I was the first follower, we have been open for 1,337 days. How cool is that?
Holy crap.
I know. Someone said, let's see who's followed the longest. And I said, I think I'm going to win, considering I was the first follower.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Neat. Well, that's cool.
That's pretty neat.
I like it. We're going to take this last question and we're going to get to a few other things and then we're going to call it a night.
Venezuela said the other day that we're never allowing the people that they sent out to come back into Venezuela. Okay? That's not going to happen. But they said that. So they are sending them out, and they're saying you can never come back because they're letting the bad people. We're going to stop that, and we're going to deport, and we have no choice. You know, Dwight Eisenhower was so far.
G.I. Joel, where was my, what comment did you find? And I see her on YouTube. Which Facebook post was it? Let me know, man. Interested to find out. I always love to find out how people find the show because although our reach is extensive, I think our reach for the first time has hit, I want to say 376 million people is our reach. Now, that is pretty good. And that is our potential audience if we serve ads or if it goes viral. That's pretty cool because we have a lot of listeners overseas too. We have a ton of listeners in Australia, England. We've got quite a few that listen in Canada. There's people in Norway and Scotland and Ireland. It's incredible. I think the last time I checked was like 37 different countries have listened to the show. So to see that is really neat. So yeah, tell us how you found us.
The biggest deporter. He was a president that hated to see what was happening. He had a lot of people pouring into our country. It was really hurting our country badly. And in many cases, people would say destroying our country because they were just coming in. Nothing like what you're witnessing today, by the way. But he did very big deportation and very successful deportation. If we had a choice.
Yeah, that post is one that's going viral. I think, Joel, it's, let's see. This is one, and we've been kind of dead lately because Facebook's been throttling because of the election, but that post is just going ballistic. People are very angry at me, and I love messing with people. 75,000 likes, laughs, hearts. It's been shared 32,300 times. 1,144,873 people have been reached, and 1.2 million. No, excuse me. That is correct. That is incorrect. 11 million people reached, and 1.2 million have engaged with it. Holy crap! That's one of my largest posts ever. It's on the page. It's 3 days ago. We've gotten, it's 195, almost 5,200 follows in 3 days. So we're ready to break 200,000 followers. So yeah, that thing went viral. That's not my biggest viral. My most viral was one of my videos that did well. And a lot of people ask. They ask, so I'm going to tell them. And it's not bragging. I'm just telling you, one single post, what does Facebook pay me on it? People want to know. And nobody will tell you because people are too close-minded. I'm all about it. I'm all about helping you guys understand the success and failures of the show. And I've always done that. So this is, that single post has made $1,700. So $1,784 on that single meme is what Facebook has paid me for that interaction. And which is great because Facebook has been killing us. They took away almost 90% of our revenue when they changed their rules with Rights Manager and are allowing companies and people overseas to take our stuff and not pay us. So this is a nice, they took a lot of money from us. So it's really nice to see. That'll help pay the bills. So there you go. Just wanted to tell you. Kind of neat. But it doesn't mean you can't donate because we're still way behind. We used to do really well on Facebook, and it's been tough. So luckily places like Wimkin and Spreely TV are helping us. And then you guys with your donations have been incredible. And you guys have been keeping us moving and running. And honestly, it warms our hearts because we were in such a tough spot that we almost had to stop. And the fact that you guys have been helping has been just unreal. So thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. It's nice to have one post actually do well.
It would be nice not to have to do it. We have to do it because this is not sustainable for you or for any other business in this room. It's not sustainable for our country. So we're going to deport and we're going to get it back and we're going to bring our country back and we're going to make our country bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Smiles and comments.
Hello, Mr. President. My name is Jeanette Garcia. I am an Army.
Joel, just to answer your question here is a lot of people go mad if you read all those comments, every single one of them. Like if I'm tagged in them, I read every one. And I'm tagged in a crap ton because people are calling me a mother effer and a Nazi and a climate denier. And I'm not a climate denier. I completely believe in climate change. All I got to do is walk outside and go, oh, wow, the climate change. I'm a believer that climate changes. But do I believe in man-made climate change? I don't know. It's not about belief. It's not theology. It's science. And the science says that man is contributing, but how much we are contributing is really the question. So there was an ice age here at one point, folks, and then it's going away. And this is what happens.
Combat veteran, a prior federal police officer here at Luke Air Force Base. I've seen a fair share of challenges in my life. I'm a domestic violence survivor as well as sexual assault. I'm a single mother, and the crime rate's rising. I'm really worried about the safety of our communities and families. What specific steps are you planning to take to tackle and make our community safe again?
We have to back our police. We have to back law enforcement. We have to give them back their respect and their honor and their dignity, and they're great people. We have to do it. And the people that are most affected are really the minority communities. Those are the people that are most affected. And I really think that's one of the reasons we have so many African-American people supporting us. Nobody's ever seen anything. They're leaving the Democrats in numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Because you know what? They have to be safe. They have to be safe. Thank you. That's a great point. Thank you. Please. It's a beautiful baby.
Thank you.
Can't do better than that. That's beautiful. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. President.
Hi.
My name is Emily. This is my daughter, Felicity. We live in northern Arizona. It's beautiful and quiet and nice and everything, but it's all.
There is a technique that I learned a long time ago, especially on this show, is that there'll be people who call in and you can hear their voices, and they're nervous. I mean, you guys can go back to Olivia's first show, and she was that way. She was that way on the Nerd Fat podcast, and it's a really easy thing just to say, "Hey, no reason to be nervous. You're doing great." And that is an amazing thing that just puts people at ease, and it's okay to stop them. I've done it on the show. I'm like, listen, hey, take a second. It's all good. I put my pants on just like you. I'm not a celebrity. Just take a breath. We're having a conversation, and you'll hear people just, and go normal. But you can hear she's nervous.
So in a rural area, my concern is that the nearest equipped trauma hospital is over an hour and a half away. What can your administration do to give rural Americans better access to hospitals?
Well, we're going to be helping rural America. Rural America votes for Trump. There's nobody going to take that away. And we'll be helping. They've been building. We started a process for building hospitals and other things in rural America. And I'm going to keep that going. They ended it in the Biden administration, as you know. But we're going to keep that going. Rural America, look, it's the backbone. It's the heart of our country. We'll take care of it. Okay? You just hang in.
Yeah, that's not really an answer. And what he needs to do is he needs to take a very militaristic approach to helping hospitals by incentivizing doctors with stipends and tax relief and bonuses to spend time in rural America, very similar to the military. If you go into the military, you get a free education, and you take your 8-year commitment as a doctor. And then when you get out, you can private practice and do some reserve time. It would be the same thing. It's where we would ultimately encourage people to go into these smaller towns and spend 4 to 6 years there, setting up a practice and paying for their education to encourage the growth of innovation and technologies and have hospitals invest in these areas. If we would do that and we would incentivize that, I think it would address a lot of these issues. The second thing is you need to start hitting California. You need to start hitting New York and California, Florida and Texas and other extremely large states that import water, energy, Arizona, New Mexico from Colorado, Utah. And you need to tax these people and tax these states to give money back to help these red states that do the hardest jobs in America and unfortunately lose fingers or blow out a back because it's blue collar work. If we have to pay a subsidy for traveling and tourism on these coastal cities and have to pay a premium tax for shipping and receiving through the ports in the Midwest, well, then they should have to pay a tax on our labor. It's high time that we stop taking advantage of the Rust Belt and that we bring it to a modern day metropolis of innovation and technology. This is what we've seen with Denver, Colorado, which suffered from this. We've seen it with Kansas City. You see it with plenty of Rust Belt and blue collar America. It's about time that we do it with hospitals and travel, trains, buses, transportation. All of these things need to be consideration. A bus would literally change the face of a small town. Change the face of a small town. Thoroughfare, business, commerce. If my daughter can jump on a bus and be downtown at the ice cream shop, she would do it. She would pay the $1.25 and get on a bus and have it drop her off and then bring it back. One bus can change a small town. These little things need to be considered. And if you want to invest in infrastructure, small towns are a great way to do it.
We'll get it done. Thank you. Okay, how about one more if it's a good one?
I'm so sorry, Pumpkin.
Sorry. Amy just had the best comment of the night, and it deserves to be read out loud. Amy Stamcombe.
What's new?
So she was asking Tina Savage, because Tina, if I'm not mistaken, is law enforcement. So I've got a question for you. With the recent popularity of polite policing and Leo's being more respectful of people's identities, do you have to change your language when you taser someone? Do you yell taser, 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 or tase him, tase him, tase him? Maybe tase them.
Amy's so funny.
Freaking hilarious.
She's quick, folks. You gotta give her that.
That was great.
Stand-up comedy. I'm telling you, she should get into it because her one-liners are. You think dads have dad jokes? She's got mom jokes.
We'll end on a good one. Always end on a good one, right?
Gotta follow the baby, so we don't know about that.
That's right.
So I'm an advocate for many senior citizens.
Good.
And they are.
All right, I think it's a good place to kind of pop smoke and say, I think that is probably what he needs to do more often than not.
I think that's great. I mean, at what rally do they ever take questions? And the only time they've ever done it is a formal setting. Why can't I think of the name of what they do?
The town hall.
That's the town hall setting. He's never done it like this, where it's just, I mean, would love to see Biden do that. It'll never happen, but
yeah, poopy pants can't do that. Yeah. Folks, FYI, we are over at thedumshow.com. If you want to get a Let's Go Brandon shirt, some coffee, we've got hoodies. We got tank tops now, at least for one brand. Stop by thedumshow.com. You can use code DUM10 and save 10%. That's all of our viewers. We appreciate you. You can also go ahead and no, Maureen, we're not leaving yet. I want to talk about John Fetterman because, geez, Liv, being right is so much better than being wrong. Do you remember when I told you that John Fetterman would beat Muhammad Oz?
Yes.
And did I also tell you that I would have voted for John Fetterman over Muhammad Oz?
Yes.
And everyone said I was crazy?
Yes.
And everyone said I was nuts?
Yes.
And everyone called him lurch, but I said he's actually got a decent sense of humor. He is progressive, but I don't think his true heart lies in the Progressive Party. I think he needs to do that to get elected. And I think we'll see a shift from him. Then the stroke changed all of that. And I haven't talked about it in a long time, but this is the guy that stood up for Israel. This is the guy that came out against illegal immigration. This is the guy that's challenged the way the courts have treated Trump. He doesn't like Trump, but he also doesn't like weaponizing the court systems. Here is John Fetterman talking about his progressive stance. And I'm just going to mic drop here. Okay. So there it is, and I just want you all to listen to it.
For the president in this situation seems to be more coming from very safe and blue, very kinds of places. Now in Pennsylvania, the border security is an important issue, and we do all believe that we should have a secure border. And I never thought it was unreasonable for any Democrat to want to make our border more secure.
I want to ask you personally about your own sort of journey, as the kids say. Some progressives have criticized you for being a different senator than you suggested you would be when you were a candidate for Senate. What do you say to that?
I want to thank Matt Spear for being the only commentator to see that. I appreciate Matt in so many different ways. Not only is he taller than me, he is much better looking, and he can grow facial hair in a much more rapid flowing way. I admire Matt and wanted to go ahead and say that he was right and the rest of the country was wrong.
Well, I wasn't. I was very clear for saying that for years I'm not a progressive, and I just identified myself as just a regular Democrat. So it really wasn't any new news. Now, 8 years ago, I was a progressive, but the situation's changed, and I've been very clear that I didn't leave that label. That label left me, and I think it's much more important to be focusing on Donald Trump instead of,
Left me.
He had a stroke. Cut him some slack. Do I like John Fetterman? No, I think he's still he's a Democrat, and he is fairly progressive still. But do I appreciate him being able to skirt the lines effectively? Yes. Do I appreciate him that he isn't a progressive socialist? Yes. But yeah, you're welcome. Because he's not, listen, just because somebody is a Democrat doesn't make them a progressive. That's not what the Democratic Party is. In fact, progressivism is antithetical to the Democratic liberals of modern liberalism and classic liberalism. And Republicans and Democrats were both found out of classic liberalism. And a lot of conservatives don't want to hear that. And liberals have become an ugly word. I don't have a problem with liberals. John Fetterman's a liberal. I don't agree with his policies, but I don't think he's detrimental and damaging to America because of his stances on abortion. I'm sorry, I don't. There are plenty of people who agree. 71% of America believes there should be some form of abortion in the United States. That is a very large number. So I can't hate everybody who does that. What I can't stand are people who try to destroy America. Island Omar, Rashid Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, Bowman. These people are trash, and they support foreign countries. They support Al-Qaeda and ISIS. They are pro-Hamas. These are the people who need to get the frack out of our country. John Fetterman isn't. Surprisingly enough, even AOC is not someone I find as a threat. She's a joke. She can't get anything passed. She wanted to pass a $95 million Green New Deal, and everyone told her to go, or $95 trillion Green New Deal, and everyone laughed at her out of the building. She's harmless. She's just like Elizabeth Warren. She's just like Bernie Sanders. Nobody takes him seriously. But Fetterman has come across on some decent sides where I've got to say, good for him. Still don't like him. But if it was between him and Mohammed Oz, I would have voted for Fetterman. Fetterman doesn't want to ban guns. Fetterman doesn't believe in unregulated abortion. And Fetterman doesn't believe that in gender transitioning children. He believes that transgender people have obviously human rights. He believes that they should be socially accepted. He believes that there are certain considerations for them, but he doesn't believe in transitioning 6-year-olds. So I think it's important for us to understand that there are progressives and then there's liberals. And they're two very different creatures. Liv, your thoughts on this now that you reflect back on Fetterman, Lurch, Uncle Lurch?
I still think he needs to wear something different.
Yeah, I do too.
As
I wear my T-shirt.
Well, you're not in Congress and you're not at the Capitol.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of when we were in school. You didn't wear pajamas to school. You didn't wear pajamas on a plane.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, in public.
No.
It was, you had to actually dress decent.
Oh, yeah.
Nowadays, if you actually go into the school with anything but pajamas on, you're overdressed.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
insane.
Oh, I would have gotten my ass kicked by my dad if I would have worn that stuff.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, shifting gears. I just thought you'd want to see that. If you
we
want
may not know sitting here right.
I want you to listen to this because this is. I have said this on the show. This is an I told you so show. So I told you what the Democrats were going to do about the election. I watch you through it start to finish. And if they lose, I've told you what they're going to do too. I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to it closely. Listen.
So as we prepare for 2024, Donald Trump is plotting his next crime. We may not know sitting here right now what that crime will be, but we know it will involve subverting the outcome of the election. We know it will involve election interference. We know it'll involve efforts to prevent the will of the voters from having its day. What do I think it'll focus on? I think it's going to focus on the certification process and the vote counting process. That is where so much of their attention, so much of their ire, so much of their bile, and frankly, where they have anchored the big lie and election denialism since 2020 has been on that fulcrum of between the moment the ballot is cast and the moment it is counted. We saw it with fake electors, but we also saw it in the efforts to prevent counties from correctly certifying election results and the putting of election deniers in office to refuse to certify elections in 2024. And I think that is what we all need to be prepared for, and we all need to be prepared to fight against.
Wow. What have I always told you about Democrats, Liv? You remember?
You say a lot about
when
Democrats.
they tell you what the other side is doing, what does that mean?
They're lying.
Well, yeah, but can anyone fill the blanks?
It's what they're actually doing.
It's what they're actually doing. They're telling you what they're going to do. So they are going to challenge the certification of the election. They are telling you right now that that's what's coming, and they're trying to justify it because they're going to say it's in reactionary stance due to Donald Trump trying to do it. So we're going to do it. We're going to decertify his votes. We're going to challenge his electors. We're going to go ahead and overtake the state electors to not give him the ability to go ahead and become president. They have already said, Joe Biden has stood up on the stage and said, Donald Trump will never be president. We already have things in place to ensure that. They already understand what they're going to do to ensure that he is never president again. And this is my biggest fear. People say, Matt, do you think Donald Trump can win the election? Yeah, I do. Do I think Donald Trump will win the election? No, I don't. I've said it 100 times. When you have Hitler as your reasoning, and that is your moniker from the left, that you are the next Adolf Hitler, they will do whatever they can to stop you from rising from power, and they'll be justified. Because I've asked you this question before. Wouldn't you do whatever you could to stop Hitler? Liv, would you do whatever you could to stop Hitler?
Yes.
Would you go back in time and smother him in his sleep when he was an infant?
I don't know if I could do
I would.
that.
I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. Who wouldn't? Why wouldn't you? It's Adolf Hitler, right?
That's true.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, that's a baby. Row, row, row your boat gently down. I mean, it's Hitler, but maybe not. Maybe a retroactive abortion. Like maybe when dad was ready to climax, I'd just whop him upside the head and then stop that baby being born. And then maybe another swimmer would win. But I'm sorry if you could. Hey, bud.
Hello.
Oh, good night, buddy.
Good night.
I love you, pal. Hey, we need to watch Venom this weekend. You want to do that?
Oh, yes.
Let's do that.
The new movie.
Get out, Ethan. Just leave. I already asked you to watch it. I really didn't. It wasn't a two-way street conversation. It was more rhetorical. Come here. I'm just kidding. What were you going to say?
I think the new
It is. It's out. Yeah. And we can watch all three of them. All right. Love you. So anyway.
If Hayden's here, we won't watch him.
Yeah, but so do I think Trump's Hitler? That is the dumbest thing ever. He is the worst Nazi ever.
He was president before with 4 years, and he never did anything like that. And just the fact that people still believe that.
I know. No, Darla. See, here's the problem. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. I didn't say Trump was Hitler. That's what they have said. The left have been saying he's Adolf Hitler. They're saying he's Vladimir Putin's puppet. This is the narrative. So when Trump is Hitler, in their eyes, they would do anything they can to stop him. That is what I'm saying. Is there any history regarding Hitler's upbringing or people who influenced him, or just a bad dude from the get-go? Yeah, I've talked about Hitler's upbringing. There's a show that I did that was written in a hypothetical, and it didn't talk about Nazis, and it used pseudonyms for Nazis and the Allies and the axis of evil. And I went into a little bit of his history. First of all, he's not a Jew. A lot of people said that Hitler had his father was Jewish. No. He was Austrian by all accounts. He was not Jewish. So that's not true. Hitler was a very charismatic person, surprisingly enough. And that's how he rose to power. He didn't come out spewing fire and brimstone. In fact, he came out talking about nationalism and Germany regaining its identity and its strength, and how it was crippled during the Versailles Treaty, and how it was put to the side in World War I and became impotent because of weak leadership. And he didn't necessarily point out the Jews right away. In 31, 32, I believe they had 3 or 4 people from the Nazi Socialist Party actually make its way into legislation. Then it was like 6, and then 14, and then 35, and it just went up and up and up every couple of years, and they started to gain power, very much like at the Freedom Caucus. And although I'm not comparing the Freedom Caucus to the Nazi Party, please don't take it for that. It started off in a slow trickle and then turned into something much larger. And then that's when the rhetoric started. Once Hitler gained momentum, then he realized that he was changing hearts and minds. And once you do that, and you build loyalty, you can start going ahead and pushing people like, hey, here, go ahead and have a drink. Oh, cool. Here, have a cigarette. Okay, well, here, take a puff of a joint. You're like, ooh, wait a second, really? Here, let's take some acid. You're like, no, I'm not going to. Okay, fine, I'll do some acid. And then slowly, turn people's morals and the depravity of guilt into action. And that's what he was able to do. And he slowly began to blame the Jews and turn it on the banking system and the corrupt, what people call Zionists today is the Jew is ultimately the reason why we failed in World War I and why the Versailles Treaties was signed and our military is kaputs and we're on the back shelf and on the world stage and all of this. And then, started pointing out that they lived in the richest places and started relocating Jews to the slums, and then taking the people in the slums and moving them out, and taking, the doctors and the scientists after that and rounding them up and putting them in camps. And Hitler's first movement wasn't to annihilate, it was to put them in camps and separate them from society. Then realizing that it was a drain on the Germany's economy and was stopping them from competing in the war from a dollar perspective with the amount of money that they were doing, keeping, prisoners of war and prisoners of not genocide at that point, but prisoners of removing them from society by attrition. And then realizing that was a huge draw, started eliminating them because it was easier. And not just Jews. I mean, you had 6 million Jews that were exterminated and 5 million others. And these were Europeans, these were Germans, these were Welsh and Dutch and Irish and every other nationality who supported not to keep Jews in power, but would resist against what was happening due to the efficacy of right and wrong. So you started seeing people start to blame the Jews, and you started seeing, gold stars being put above their businesses to identify Jewish business versus German businesses. Then you started seeing the Goebbels cartoons and posters and propaganda that would malign them with cockroaches and rats. And it was a slow transition to let's build Mother Germany back to where she needs to be. And here's what's stopping us from doing it, the Jews. So anyway, my point is, if you want to learn about Hitler, it's an extremely interesting biography into somebody's life who wasn't always this evil, he wasn't 6 years old and burning ants with a magnifying glass. I'll tell you that much. But if you read into him, it's fairly interesting. I don't have any admiration for Hitler.
When did he start rating the Jews?
1931, 1932. Started very slowly introducing the hatred towards Jews.
I wonder if he's always felt that way his entire life.
No, it was convenient. You know, just like he said he was a Christian and he wasn't. He was more of a fan of the occult and, you know, harvested relics. And the Nazi symbol actually is a Hindu and a Buddhist symbol, just simply in reverse. It's simply transposed at a horizontal flip. And it actually means something like kindness and goodness in that. And if you go to India and you look at the Hindu temples, the swastika in reverse is actually all over the buildings and tapestries and relics and books and such like that, writing. So he was a collector of the occult. And he used Christianity for power, like most people do, is use religion. I mean, you've seen it's the Denzel Washington movie we love so much, with the blade, and he's blind. And
Book of Eli.
yeah, the Book of Eli is a perfect example. Gary Oldman, his motivation isn't to bring the word of God. The motivation is to bring the word of him through God, and you can only access God through him, using God as power. This is what the Roman Church and the Catholic Church did. This isn't anything new. So Hitler used religion as a stepping stone into gaining people's favor. So something you should think about. Anyway, one other video from this yokel pokel. The whole point is the Democrats are telling you what they're going to do. That's it. I want to show you a video that I saw quite a while ago about I believe a World War II vet. Shush, man, dude, I got you, Grandpa. Calm down. With all due respect, sir, World War II.
It's for the
veteran.
president in this situation.
And I want you just to listen to this. It's been a while since I've seen it. Maybe you haven't. And I want to get your thoughts, Liv.
Is it a video? There it is. Okay.
And people don't realize what they have. They bitch about it. They do. And then nowadays, I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. It's just not the same. That's not what our boys, that's not what they died for. It's just not it. And people don't realize what they have.
It's sad.
It is sad. And I hate
We're
to
gonna go all the way Supreme.
I hate to bring in Steve Bannon. Listen, I don't have any problems with Steve Bannon. I'm not a friend of his. I don't know him personally. I know people who do know him very well, actually. And he's a very intelligent guy. He is on the far right. And just because you're on the far right doesn't mean you're fascist. Steve Bannon has a very strict guideline with how he sees this country. And you have a man who recognizes that, who fought for this country, who had immense bravery, who they felt that almost 91% of those who went were going to die in the first wave in some estimations, and did, to survive to see this country go where it's at. And the problem that I have is that Steve Bannon resisted a subpoena that was not used in any other way than punitive. And see, folks, the House does not have the power to convict citizens. That's not its job. And I want to be really clear here. This upsets me more than Trump. Because even what happened with Trump, although wrong, and although, in my opinion, will be overturned, and so do most people, because of the procedural fuck-ups in these cases and just the sheer tomfoolery that took place. That is still the court of law, and that is the interpretation of a minor court, which will be overturned either by the state or the federal Supreme Circuit Court or SCOTUS. I still, although am not happy with that outcome and believe that it is a complete shit show and people's heads should roll for it, this is even worse because here the state legislature is using executive power. This is the executive branch's power. This is the judicial branch's power. The executive branch can punitively, through the Department of Justice, investigate and recommend judicial oversight and punishment through the court systems. The House of Representatives have absolutely no right to do that. They can subpoena, they can put somebody in contempt of Congress. But going after an everyday citizen who served for the president as an advisor and to go after him from a federal standpoint simply because he refused to testify and challenged because he has immunity with executive privilege and doesn't have to testify, they are breaking a tradition that has not been enforced from Hillary Clinton, from her wiping her servers and breaking a court order to cease and desist, from her entire staff getting immunity and swiping plea deals, from Ronald Reagan and Ollie North, from Bill Clinton to the investigations into Watergate. You don't go after, because here's an example, is the BleachBit company that wiped her computers and her server maintenance company who essentially eradicated all evidence for Hillary Clinton was in Colorado. Those people refused to testify and they're not in prison. Because the request of the Congress to have you testify before them is not punitive against the citizens. You can't weaponize Congress against the citizens. It's not their job. And the fact that they're using a subpoena to throw Steve Bannon in prison is, in my opinion, although I am not a defender of Bannon, I'm a defender of our judicial system and the rights of every American on an individual basis. And this, to me, is the beginning of what we talked about, that if they can do it to Trump, they can do it to us. And this is a perfect example. Watch this.
Okay, thanks. I've got great lawyers, and we're going to go all the way to Supreme Court if we have to, but I want to say something specifically about the Justice Department. Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, the entire Justice Department, they're not going to shut up Trump. They're not going to shut up Navarro. They're not going to shut up Bannon, and they're certainly not going to shut up MAGA. If you look right here, you reporters, in the 2.5 or 3 years we've been here, look at the rise of MAGA, look at the rise of Donald Trump. If the election was held today, according to Harry Enton over at CNN, President Trump would win in a landslide. All of this, besides the major legal issues that have to be addressed, all of this is about one thing. This is about shutting down the MAGA movement, shutting down grassroots conservatives, shutting down President Trump. Not only are we winning, we are going to prevail, and every number and every poll shows that. There's nothing that can shut me up and nothing that will shut me up. There's not a prison, there's not a prison built or a jail built that will ever shut me up. All victory to MAGA. We're going to win this. We're going to win at the Supreme Court. And more importantly, we're going to win on November 5th in an amazing landslide with the Senate, the House, and also Donald J. Trump back as President of the United States. Thank you very much.
Lock him up! Lock them up!
Oh my God! People are fucking stupid. I just live. Hey,
what's going on, Donut Information?
What is this? Shut up, Matt. Shut up, Matt. What is this? What does this country come to? I mean, does this? as a person who gets to sit outside of this fray and doesn't necessarily see it to the depths that I do, how do you feel about this?
We're a complete shit show right now, and we're a joke of the world, and people are looking at us and going, oh my gosh, I don't understand why so many illegal aliens want to come here, because we're a joke right now, and it's sad. And you've got countries like China and Russia and other ones just looking at us and going, they're tearing themselves apart from the inside. And it's going to be real easy to go in for the attack once that happens, because they are ripping themselves apart. And we're just going to implode. And it's just dumb. Again, I fear for the world our children are going to grow up to live in, and their children will grow up to live in, unless something happens.
The censorship of thought is going to be the ultimate demise of this country. The censorship of thought, because you can censor speech, you can censor attitude, you can censor actions, but when you try to control people's thought, you ultimately have to kill them. And I want people to listen to what I just said. I'm not worried about the censorship of speech. I'm not worried about the censorship of me going somewhere, then putting a passport across state lines. All of those things can be circumvented, but when they try to censor thought, it is a effort and futility that cannot be done. And this is what the point of the concentration camps were, is to alter people's thoughts. And you can't alter thoughts. That is that's why they can never take it away from you. They can never take your freedoms away, because inside are your thoughts. They are what you think, and nobody can control them if you don't let them. But when they attempt to do that, the only way to truly control someone's thinking is to kill them.
I know that this is your business, but I think technology and social media is the beginning of this. And this is,
I agree.
It is the cause of all of this. And I know people are like, technology, yay, but it's gone too far, in my opinion.
Tuner, I am horribly sorry to hear about your aunt. That's horrible. And God bless you, man. I'm so sorry. And I lost my uncle many years back now. And it's a hard thing. So I certainly don't understand how that feels directly, because I don't know your aunt, but I just wanted to offer my condolences. Thomas says, Matt, will Russia take the opportunity to build a base in the Caribbean while they are doing naval exercises? I don't know. Russia is not a concern for me. They can't even take a border of Ukraine. Russia's nothing. I don't care about Russia. I don't care about China. I care about China going into Taiwan. What I care about is Iran and nukes. That's what I care about. I care about North Korea and Iran becoming a nuclear power. That is my biggest fear. Just like I was terrified of Pakistan and India becoming nuclear powers, and we almost had a nuclear war because of them. So they were firing off nukes like the 4th of July.
Seems to be more coming from very safe and.
So those are my concerns.
And now we're going.
Shut up, lady. I don't care about Russia, and I don't care about China. I don't. I care about the Middle East, because that's where the end of times is supposed to take place. So therefore, I kind of care about that. I just want to cover all my bases, folks. I care about Iran. They will nuke Israel. Most assuredly nuke Israel. Yeah. They will try to bring in a dirty bomb into Jerusalem, and they will try to kill Jews. Yeah. 100%. So that bothers me. But as far as China and Russia, China just wants to be an economic superpower. That's what they want. They don't want to dominate. They don't want to take over the world. China has never been aggressor to anybody except Tibetans and, some Indian conflicts. They've gotten their asses kicked by Japan more often than I can count. China wants to be an economic superpower. That's what they want to do. Russia wants to take over Europe again. But they're not going to, because they can't. Vladimir Putin is ensuring that Ukraine never joins NATO. That's what he wants to do. And honestly, if the entire northern border of Canada, Edmonton, Quebec, Vancouver, was going to go to Russian control, I'm pretty sure we would be very, very vigorously protecting Montreal to the nth degree. I think everyone would agree. So I don't know what else to say about that. So anyway, that's it. Iran is the biggest threat to the United States. North Korea is most assuredly a problem. What the fuck are you talking about, Ramon, that North Korea isn't a problem? What are you talking about? North Korea has violently stated that they want to rain fire on South Korea. They have violently stated that they want to rain fire on the United States. More so than Iran has. What are you talking about? Why? What do you mean North Korea is not a problem? North Korea, from a military standpoint, is certainly a problem for Seoul, considering that they have enough artillery pointed at Seoul to flatten it to Kingdom Come. This is why Seoul has never made an advancement. And any type of imposition that's put upon North Korea, no matter how much China despises North Korea, you will have to face China and the full threat of their military if you do so. I don't know what you're talking about. So North Korea is a serious problem. And if you don't believe that North Korea is a serious problem, let me show you something. I was going to do a show on this. See if we can. Yeah, watch this. Liv, you're going to love this. Then we're going to go. Here's a video that you got to see. This is going to show you how close we were to losing the Korean War. Okay? So you have the DMZ demarcation line between North and South. You have 38,000 South Koreans along this line. You have 96,000 North Korean communists on this line. Okay? Everyone got it? Liv?
Mm-hmm.
All right, watch. Turning off the sound. So immediately in the first opening conflicts, 175,000 North Koreans push 143,000 South Koreans to the southernmost tip of South Korea and the southwesternmost tip of South Korea. They wound up having numbers dwindled to about 118,000 to about 109,000 until the first Americans arrived. America was almost pushed into the sea, because here's that stage right here. If you can see this. They had about 96% of Korea as we see it. And then Americans literally put in 175,000 troops. And they almost died.
My grandfather was there.
Yeah, 327,000 in that small area, surrounded by 212. But then they started pushing back. They did a westernmost flank along the DMZ, and you saw the United States come here and literally break the lines. They put another 150,000 troops in and started pushing towards the west, which would give them this entire sector here. It's brilliant strategy. Most of the forces were focused on this southeastern area. You had a small sliver here, but you get a multifaceted, a three-attack approach. You get them from the north, which interrupts their supply lines here. You push from this area and push from this area. You get a triangulated approach, and they have nothing to do but to retreat. And as you can see, that's where they folded. This was their last push, and they funneled them up into this area. And then you had essentially a stalemate for quite a while. Now China gets involved. And you got 600,000 versus 648,000. And China can put a couple billion at it if they really want to. And that's what they do by reaching over 1 million. China comes in. They get tunnels dug. They get mechanized infantry involved. Winters are starting to hit. Our vehicles and our track vehicles are getting stuck and getting frozen. And they put 1.2 million against us. And this DMZ flat push ultimately became a draw. And they say that when you look at these wars and you look at these conflicts, that Korea was a draw and Vietnam was a tie. And the old adage is that it's 1, 1, and 1. World War II was a win. Korea was a draw. And Vietnam was a loss. And that DMZ was there because no matter what you did, you're at a stalemate. And the farther north you go into Korea, it's more mountainous, it's more difficult to fight. And they just threw bodies at it. 1.5 million, and we still were unable. And a lot of people were dying at this point. A lot of South Koreans were dying. A lot of Americans were dying. You can see our numbers are going down, and nobody's exfilling. We're losing. So when people say Korea isn't a threat, it's an absolute fallacy. That was years ago. Okay. Oh, Ramon, I think I know more about strategic geopolitical military situations than you do. So I don't know what you're talking. Dude, hold on to that thought, whatever. Maybe you're drinking tonight. It doesn't matter if it was years ago. China has gotten stronger. China was using flintlocks when you want to talk about 100 some odd years ago. China has not had the industrial advancement that the United States have. It doesn't have the energy production, but its weapon systems are fantastic, and they absolutely are stronger than they've ever been. North Korea, although it certainly isn't a slouch, it doesn't stand militarily against us. But the problem is how do you move on North Korea? How do you impact their integrated air defense systems when they are literally pointing a gun at Seoul's head? They may not be able to sustain a land war, but they certainly are an amazing first strike threat against Seoul. And if we lose Seoul and we lose Korea, you might as well go ahead and say, forget about keeping the Orient. Because if China has the entire plot of Korea, it opens up an extreme amount of lucrative economic value, power, thoroughfare, trade, mining, mercantile, and every other type of thing you can think of. South Korea would be almost as, in fact, it would be as strong as getting Taiwan. And if they get all of Korea and Seoul falls, the United States loses a massive strategic point in the northern waters and eastern waters of Russia as far as naval dominance, and then that pushes into Japan and eventually Australia, and then we lose access to the Orient Sea of Japan and the South Pacific, which, if you think is no big deal, then you haven't looked at a map. So, yeah, you should call in. We haven't done this in a while, dude, so maybe you've had a few too many beers. North Korea most certainly is a threat just because of China's backing. So that's it. Liv, give us a 1 minute. What do you got?
Not much, like normal. My 1 minutes are not much. Thank you to everyone who donated, and we appreciate every cent.
Yes. Loretta says, since I never have credit cards or any other ways to pay if I ordered something, can I send a personal check? How about we do you one better, Loretta? How about you tell me what you want, send Olivia an email, and we'll just go ahead and pick it up for you, and you can send us a check whenever you want to. Cool? That would be the easier thing for us to do. We would rather do that. So why don't we do that, and we'll go from there. They
don't have my email, so they got to send it to you.
All you got to do is go to thedumshow.com and go to the Q&A and send me a message of what you want. I'll make sure Olivia gets it. Question, if North and South Korea were to reach a peace treaty, what would the repercussions be? China will never let that happen. The repercussions would be that China most certainly would invade and overthrow North Korea and replace Kim Jong-un with a Chinese nation-building situation. They would seize election, not that there's elections now, but they would take over North Korea completely. There's no way they would allow a unification of Korea to happen. Even though it's been talked about, it will never happen. Cool? All right, good talk, everybody. Rowan says, I'm at work, not drinking yet. Yeah, well, you should be, because that shit that you just said is absolutely ridiculous. I'll be happy to wax intellect with you tomorrow. Wimkin, how do we wind up doing on Wimkin, Liv?
It's hard to check because the chat
check.
I'm here, but as far as viewers, 18 viewers was the top, but we've gotten almost 3,300 views in total.
That's not bad. 3,300. All right. Well, it's good to have everybody on. Thanks, folks, for watching the show. You can do us a favor if you stop by linktapgo.com/The DUM Show. You can donate to the show if you want to. We would appreciate it. I want to thank Kevin for helping out with another $10.80. And we appreciate everything you guys have done for us. Thank you for that. Tomorrow, Liv, what does our schedule look like for Red Friday?
On at 7 o'clock Eastern, as always. I'm not sure about Leroy and Amy.
Now, I know Leroy, but you're going to be tired because you're getting up at 30 tomorrow. So what we may do is try to go without you. If you're too tired, we understand.
Okay.
So nobody's going to cry if you say no.
I will let you know how I feel it.
Awesome. Kevin, thanks for the tip. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Inform Me Show. We will see you next time. God bless and have a good one. See you tomorrow.
Night, y'all.
Good night. Maybe now. Good night.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major.
Kyung said it best. Yep, there will never be a peace treaty. Only way to unite is one side must fail. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And it has to be a failure that's not military based or an aid from a foreign country. It has to be an epidemic. It has to be an economic issue. But China will never let North Korea fail, and we will never let South Korea fail. That DMZ is there for a reason, and it is a demarcation line in between China and United States dominance. Russia will get involved. If North Korea is threatened, Russia and China most certainly will get involved, and that will create a world war. I'm just letting you know there's no way. So we're not going to have this conversation ever again because I'm right, you're wrong. Nana, nana, boo, boo, stick your head in doo-doo.
Social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.